This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today, we have a good neighbor on with us. Some people call her the Wig Lady. I call her Crystal Taylor of Wig Boutique Barrie Hair Prosthesis. What's going on, girl?
Not much. I like Wig Lady. You can call me Wig Lady.
Yeah, that does have quite a ring to it. And every time I see you out there at networking events, sometimes stop by your place of business, you always have really dynamite hair going on, and you rock the crap out of those wigs, I have to say.
Thanks, Sean. That's the whole point, is to be able to look fantastic without putting in any real effort.
When you can cut a corner and just nail it, it's like the best feeling ever.
Absolutely.
Well, our listeners are probably super curious and want to know. And so why don't we dive right into it? And why don't you tell us about your business?
Sure. So Hair Prosthesis Center and Wig Boutique Barrie are essentially two different businesses, but they operate under the same roof. Wig Boutique Barrie has a combination of wigs and top pieces, both glamour, everyday life, as well as medical. And Hair Prosthesis Center is more of the serious tone, where we do male hair replacement, those have been injured in WSIB or suffering from some sort of medical induced hair loss, or they have a medical condition that's causing hair loss. So we get the best of both worlds. And sometimes people don't know really which category they fall into, the boutique side or the hair prosthesis side. So being able to have them both in the same location allows us to direct the consumer to where they need to go.
And so across the board, I mean, I know we spoke last year. It's super impactful what you do, because when it's medical, if it's somebody who's going through chemo, or like you mentioned, a WSIB situation, and they don't have control over their hair loss, it does some significant damage to the psyche. And so being able to be comfortable in your own skin is super, super important. And making sure that you and what you're doing and helping people find some salad, some lettuce, as a hockey player would call it, right, a nice fresh set for people to look good, goes really a long way to making people feel more comfortable in their skin.
For sure. It can be such an emotional time for people. I compare it to when you blow your engine in your car. You don't want to go see your mechanic. You don't want to commit to that expense. It's not a happy visit. For those that are coming in here for medical reasons, they don't want to be here. They don't want to do this. They want their hair their way, and they don't want to have to sit in this chair and have these discussions. So our job is to make it as nice as we can for them. And our motto around here is one at a time, and we just take it 1 second at a time. And whether you just want to sit with me for 1 minute today and not talk about anything and just stare at them, that's perfectly fine. If you want to come back 100 times till you feel comfortable enough to try one on, that's fine too. And maybe you don't want hair at all. Maybe you just want help with scarves and wraps and accessories and going through things that way. Either way, whatever the person wants to do, we're here to respect them and just try to make it that one little bit easier for them.
And so for the people who are coming in for the not so serious part, what's that experience like, working with customers that maybe they're into that kind of thing? They like throwing on different wigs. I got a neighbor across the road, lovely African couple, and she's rocking wigs all the time. Yeah. Every time that lady comes out of her house, she's got something new going on. She had this like really, really, really crazy long hair braid the other day, and I've only seen her with short hair. Looked like a completely different person. It was wild.
Right. I can tell you that our average customer has 17 wigs. So they might start off very shy and wanting something that looks very much like them and their color and what they typically would look like. But it happens very quickly where they think, oh, well, now I want some red, or it's summer and if I had my own biological hair, I would go get highlights, or maybe I want to try purple, but I don't want it to wash out. I just want to have it for short term so I don't have to wear it to work or to pick up the kids from school. Or it allows them to really step outside of their comfort zone and have some fun, but not commit 100% for a long period of time because they can just switch it out.
So this is just going to be, for those who are listening, I'm not serious. I'm poking fun here. So what's the number where we can start calling it an addiction?
I don't know. I wonder what that is.
You're
I'd
like
have to
7? Because
ask.
like average 17. I mean, there's got to be like a hump here where,
Yeah, we have a
it becomes a
lot.
thing.
I mean, you got to remember most women will go to the hairdressers every 6 to 8 weeks and get their roots done or highlights or lowlights or something. So it's not really outside of the norm for them to want to come in here every 2 or 3 months and get something different. It's very much like what they would do at the hairdresser, and they just get to keep switching them back and forth.
Well, I guess we'll have to change that to hobby.
Yes. Yes. Enthusiast.
Enthusiast. That's even better.
There you go.
Very fun. Well, I absolutely love what you do. It's super cool and can be super fun. Obviously, the serious stuff is different, but it's super meaningful. It's very impactful. Everybody's got a bit of a different journey when it comes to doing what they do.
Right.
Tell our listeners about your journey leading up to getting into being at the Wig Boutique.
I have some horrible hair, and not taking shots at my son, but if you meet him, you'd see why. It's kind of half curly, half straight, kind of looks like I might have got electrocuted. And so very quickly I discovered that I just don't have the time or the effort at that moment in time. I was in the corporate world and driving to the city and working tons of hours. And I thought, I just want to put on hair and go. So I gave it a shot, and no one had a clue. I was short blonde and went in with exceptionally long blonde. And no offense, Sean, I worked with a bunch of men and they said, "Oh, you've got extensions." And I thought, it's not even the right color, but okay. And so I just went with it, and I wore it for a full week. And then the next week I took it off, and they were like, "Oh, you took out your extensions." I thought, wow, you guys really don't know. So that's how I started on my wig journey. And they came in great and handy when I would go away somewhere hot and want to go from the beach to the bar. It's much easier to just put one on and head to the bar than to go back and shower and blow dry and curl and straighten. And my husband's already at the bar having a drink while he waits for me. So it just continued from there. And I thought, aside from the medical aspect, there's a whole new world here that it just makes life easier, whether or not you have a medical condition and you need it. So I just jumped in with both feet, and hey, here we are.
So what was that decision in your mind where you're like, I like this so much that I'm going to decide to take the leap? Because it's a leap for everybody who decides to become a business owner. There's unknown. It's a scary thing. You're leaving a stable job, the whole bit. And so there is something that happens in the mind. What was it for you?
Well, a long time ago, I had a young brother who committed suicide, and I was a nurse at the time. And I remember leaving my nursing career to go to work in the corporate world. And my parents were devastated. Why would you leave a career that you went to school for? You're young, you're making fantastic money. The world's ahead of you, to go work in retail. But it's just in that moment you just realize that life is short, and we just never know when it's up, whether that's today, tomorrow, or 50 years from now. And I just want to do what makes me happy. And I truly feel that, every day we can make a difference in someone else's life, whether it's by a joke. I'm not saying it always has to be serious. It could be holding the door open, buying a cup of coffee for someone behind us, just stopping and smiling and asking, "How's your day?" and really listening to the response. That I just thought, I don't want to do that anymore. And if that means that I have to eat Kraft dinner and hot dogs, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to eat Kraft dinner and hot dogs with a smile. And so my husband, thankfully, was extremely supportive and said, "You're right, let's do it." And so I just took that jump.
What a leap of faith, and a lovely, a lovely outcome from all of that as well, too.
Right.
In your world, are there any myths or misconceptions when it comes to wigs?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, I think so many of us that aren't interested in wigs, we think of, grandma wearing one and we think it maybe looked like a dead animal and we were afraid of it. Maybe we chased each other with it. It's not that way anymore, right? They're fashionable. The movie stars are wearing them. They're light. They look great. You can easily get away with it with no one knowing. But on the other part, I always think, why not tell people, right? Stop the stigma, help other people feel comfortable about wearing hair just like they would get a new purse. It shouldn't be a subject that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, knowledge is power, right? The more that we can spread the message and educate people on all sorts of varying topics. Jeff and I were just talking earlier today. These versions of our podcast and getting to know our business owners is fantastic, but it's not the only thing that we're eventually going to release. So spoiler alert, there will be What's Important to Us series on
Love that.
topics that are important that people should know about, right? We just did our first one yesterday on men's mental health, because unbeknownst to most people, this month, the month of June, is men's mental health month. You would have thought it was November. I didn't even know about it. I'm 35 years old. How do I not know about this? And that's a very important topic, amongst other various important topics that are out there. Mental health is simply one of them. But to shed light on stuff like that, it's very important. So we're really happy to have you on here, be able to help spread that education. Wigs are cool. Wigs are awesome. Wigs are fun. And if more people knew about it, it would just be better.
That's great, Sean. I think that, as you know, I had a brother who committed suicide. Mental health for everybody is important. And men sometimes just get you should be the tough guy and move along. So it's nice to know that you're putting some attention there and speaking to it. And I think that's important this day and age, just to stop the stigma overall. Whatever it is, however you're suffering with whatever condition or thought pattern or whatever else, it's just nice to be able to know that there's someone out there that you can talk to and people are talking about it. So good job on your part to be able to share that message.
Thank you. I'm going to switch the questions around since we're already on the topic, and then we'll finish it on a little bit more of a lighter mood. We always ask this question. I'm just going to go straight out and ask it. So I'm pretty sure that is the answer for you, unless there's something else. But in life, we always pick a path. We think that's the right path for us. We go at. There's a lot of things that are out of our control in life. Life throws things at us. Life challenges. People go through hardships, tragedies. Have you ever experienced a hardship, tragedy? What was the outcome? Any silver linings from it?
Well, Sean, that's a tough one. I would say, I don't have the best childhood. I lost my brother at a very young age. And then my father died shortly thereafter. And then my mom passed away. So very quickly, I went from having a family to being an orphan. And there's nobody. There's just me. And you quickly learn what's important and how to make your own family, whether that's the people that I meet, the customers that come in. I might not have any blood relatives per se left, but that doesn't mean that things are any different. You just have to look at things different. It's so much more than where you were born and who you were born into. It's the life that you create yourself. And I think that it's taught me that we have to have some responsibility for our own happiness, and that comes with gratitude and patience and putting yourself out there and being vulnerable with other people so that, again, they know they're not alone. I've met so many people like me in my situation that just don't say much about it. So it's been a great learning experience, and it really has helped me connect with other people and understand that I'm not alone, and there's nobody in this world that's alone. There's somebody else out there that fits your circumstances.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about that vulnerability component and being open to have a conversation with somebody. We talked again about it yesterday, the stigma, not just for men, but for women as well too, to not hold it in and to seek help or go talk to somebody even before it becomes a real problem. A lot of things can be prevented before, but even just having somebody as a sounding board makes a big difference. It's not like someone needs to give you answers. Sometimes you just need to kind of let it out, and
Right.
And that uplift you get, you're not being weighed down so much. is a very real thing.
Absolutely. It's good to have some relief.
So let's switch gears to a little bit more on the funner side. More
All
fun.
right.
Funner's not really a word, but I'm just pioneered that. For those listening, don't.
We'll go with funner.
Funner, way more funner. So I'm gonna tell a little fun story for the listeners. So we're at a Barrie After 5 chamber event at Bill Gosling here in Barrie, downtown Barrie. And I had seen Crystal a few times. I visited her BNI chapter once, and I was with my significant other, Julie, and we crossed paths at this networking event. And then the girls started chit-chatting together, and they found out that they're both from the same small town, just north of Sudbury. And then you girls started having like literally every little thing in common, and we're like a couple of schoolgirls yelling at the top of their lungs. Everybody's looking over like I did something wrong. They're looking at me like, rein these girls in. What are you doing? And I'm letting you girls just do your thing. Everyone's like, no, be quiet. I'm like, no, let them do their thing. It was hilarious to watch you two. Just a genuine human connection between two people was really special to watch.
Thanks. I think so too. It's great to get out there, and you never know who you're going to meet, right? If you don't get out there and talk to people, I wouldn't have met her. We wouldn't have had that conversation. You have to put yourself out there and help those conversations, right?
Yeah, totally. So I know you like to have fun. I could tell just from that conversation and our conversations. But for listeners, they don't know. So everybody's always, working. We work a little bit more than we play, or a lot
Right.
more in some cases. And I was using this word balance, but it's not true because the balance is perfectly equal. So we call it harmony. Having a harmony between the two, making that symphony sing to the right tune that works for you. But when you're not working on your business or in your business, what does Crystal like to do for fun?
Well, I was a Barrie Colt billet mom for 10 years. I love hockey, eat, sleep, breathe hockey. So I'm no longer a Barrie Colt billet mom. This year was my first year without one, but I have many billet sons from my time. So when I'm not at the Barrie Colts watching them, I follow the boys around. So some of them play in Europe. Some of them are lucky enough to play for the NHL. Some of them are playing for farm teams. So I go all over and catch up with them and stay in touch and watch them play wherever they are now. So we tend to spend a lot of our free time doing that. So it's a great passion of mine. It's a lovely community and something the whole family can kind of jump in on and enjoy.
And one of the boys just won a Stanley Cup, and Aaron Ekblad last night, the Florida Panthers won against the Edmonton Oilers. Did you get a chance to watch the game by chance?
I did. I stayed up to watch that game. And my other billet son that I had, he just won the Memorial Cup. So we got to go up and see most of that, not the actual cup game. But no, all those things. It's been great. It makes me happy. We stay in touch with all of the players and their families and girlfriends. And so it's been really nice.
So for those who don't know, would you mind explaining what a billet mom is?
Sure. So while the hockey season is in play, a player comes to live with your family. So they would typically move in around August or the end of August, beginning of September, and they would stay with us through until playoffs. And then they would go back home. So they would be with us for a good portion of the year. It typically is the same player that comes back year after year until they get moved from the team or traded, or they become an overager and they can't play anymore. So we've had quite a few throughout the 10 years. But my longest term billet son was with us for 4 years, and he ended up walking me down the aisle, and I got married at a Barrie Colts game.
Nice.
I know. Very cool. Yes, very cool.
That is a really cool story.
Yes.
So your love for hockey, where did that stem from?
I just love, the mushy part of me says I think it's just the team. It's seeing, the young kids come together, all different, backgrounds and belief systems. And at the end of the day, they're just one team and they work together to be successful. And it's like everything else is forgotten at the door and they just become one. And so it has been so enjoyable to watch that, both from in the scenes to out of the scenes, and just to watch them grow. I think that being part of a team teaches you an unbelievable amount of skills that you can't really learn on a paper or in a book, but being in that environment sure teaches you them.
A lot you can learn from being a part of a team. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Right. Absolutely.
Camaraderies and bonds and things that you learn while being a part of a team. I was fortunate enough to grow up playing sports and being a part of those team dynamics. You make long-lasting friendships, and you learn invaluable life skills that they just don't really teach in school from that perspective. So
couldn't agree more.
What is one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
Not to be afraid. Right? There's nothing to be afraid of. Most people, when they come in here, they're scared. They're scared to be here. They're nervous about what's going to happen, how it's going to look. We always find a solution, always. So whether it's a medical journey or for fashion purposes, I try to tell people you take care of you on the inside and how you're going to maneuver life on a day-to-day basis, and we'll help take care of the outside. But I can assure you that we will. So don't worry about that part. Don't worry about the what ifs, because there's always a solution. It's how you're doing mental health wise, emotional wise, and how you're going to get through the next couple of steps.
Very well said. Don't be afraid. Just go and see Crystal. She'll take care of you. Amazing conversation, and an even better person. Thank you very much for coming on the show. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Sean.
And if anybody is interested in wanting to learn more about you, what would be one of the best ways that they can get a hold of you?
So they can go on to our website and contact us through there or schedule an appointment. They can call us at 705-503-9447. Or this day and age, if you're a texter, you can text us at 705-984-9447.
And what's the website?
It's www.hairprosthesis.com.
Wonderful stuff. Thanks a lot, Crystal.
Thanks, Sean. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com or call 705-413-3775.